What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is The Quad with Chris Young. As always, I am Chris. We have Ryan from Miami.
A very happy 65th birthday to the University of Central Florida, the greatest university on the planet.
For anyone that's not watched this podcast or listened to this podcast before, I know better than to start with Ryan because he always does some stuff like that instead of just saying hello. And I don't know why I continue to go to him first. I love you, buddy. Haley the Bear.
Hello.
And producer Josh.
I feel like everyone else's energy level is way different than mine today.
Oh, dude, you look... I honestly, I feel tired, but
You
I
look
feel
great.
Like
he looks great.
He looks great.
I look tired.
No, he looks tired.
I look tired.
You can't say that to a woman, but you can say that to a bro.
No question.
Never look at a woman and be like, you look tired.
Just be like...
It doesn't go well.
Do you have a lot on your plate?
You got a lot going on. Are you all right?
Are you okay?
Also, maybe not ask that either.
Are you pregnant?
Oh, God.
You don't ever ask that.
Oh,
Don't ever ask
no.
that.
Never guess. Never guess.
What do you do?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Quad. If you've never listened to this podcast before and this is your first time, we talk about four things. We're four friends.
We've been doing this for 4 years, so where have you been?
Yeah, baby. Music, movies, sports. I was waiting for Ryan to get to 3.
It's like, did you forget?
No, if you're not watching on YouTube, Ryan was counting. he messed up. Music, movies, sports, and a hot take, which can be a catch-all. And today's going to be contentious. I can already see it coming. Me and Ryan are about to go 2-piece, no sides, right?
Ride or die, baby. Bad boys for life.
You don't want to fight me.
I want that smoke.
Let's start with the hot take.
Yeah. Right. Actually, let's start with the poll. Ryan, how about polls? They're fantastic.
They're here. They're up on the screen. They're ready to go. Let's start with the one that everybody was very excited about, which is, what is worse, packing for a trip or unpacking for a trip? And 70% of people said unpacking when home is worse.
Baby.
No question.
Yes.
That's a surprise, especially
No, it is not.
With our
listeners.
heavy female audience.
I love our listeners. Thank you guys so much for being on the side of unpacking. It is awful. It sucks.
It is so easy to throw stuff in the dirty hamper.
No, it's not.
Agreed.
No.
Agreed.
Wrong.
Now, let's get to.
If you're not, you got some.
I mean,
clothes in there for a while.
obviously you're wrong because 76% is a heavily
They
weighted.
probably
70.9. 70.9%. However, now let's get to the poll results that everybody is curious about.
That was the one everyone was curious about. That was the actual hot take, Ryan. So don't try to bury the lead.
We left it up to the people. We left it up to the people. Should I be suspended for this week's podcast? I'm here, clearly.
So obviously,
but based on these results, though, I may exit. With 61.2% of the vote, the Quad Pod Squad said that I should not be suspended for this podcast. Now, the 38.8% of you, I will find you. I know where you are.
No, he does not.
I know your handle.
No, he does not.
I have your information.
Do not worry about Ryan.
I'm coming after you. I'm coming after you.
He's fine.
38% of you.
We are the 38.8%.
Ryan, I would love to try and say that you're intimidating, but
you're not.
You're not.
I think it was my apology statement last week that really swayed the people.
Right.
Sure.
It was good. It was good, though.
You tried.
Where do you want to start today?
You tried. We are starting with movies today. I'm so excited about this. Movies. Bad Boys, Ride or Die, which, again, one more time for the people.
Should have been Bad Boys forever. Why would you...
When their late police captain gets linked to drug cartels, wisecracking Miami cops Mike Lowry and Marcus Burnett embark on a dangerous mission to clear his name. 63% on Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes, you can
Go away.
go.
Again.
Just go. I don't even care anymore. I'm never reading another
We will
Rotten
boycott.
Tomatoes. I have never seen a theater more happy than when watching this movie.
Yep. Rotten Tomatoes don't know. I've
Outside
told
of
y'all.
like maybe
Endgame?
Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, Endgame.
Yeah. Endgame?
Endgame. That's what I said.
Okay. I've never seen a theater like laugh so much. I've never enjoyed an action movie this much in a while. Not ever, but you can already tell where I'm going.
Wait, so because I didn't see it because we were in rehearsals all weekend. The premise of the movie is they framed Joey Pantolano.
So basically, everyone gets framed in this film, and they're trying to clear their name.
Can't come after Joey Pants like that.
Can I also say, first of all, just around the horn style, just yes or no, did you like this movie, Ryan?
My least favorite Bad Boys movie.
It's now my most favorite Bad Boys.
Dude.
Are you serious?
3 wasn't very good, man.
Dude.
My least favorite Bad Boys
Oh,
movie.
no, you're so wrong on this.
Yeah, you're very
You're
wrong.
so wrong.
Bad Boys can't miss. The fact that they
I'm
are their
sorry.
4th movie in their franchise and I'm still ready for another one tells me a lot. They cannot miss.
Okay, Ryan, are you just being contrarian?
No, I thought this movie was so ADD. The storylines were all over the place.
What are
The
you talking about?
cinematography
No,
was
they
all over the
weren't.
place. It was
The
yeah, dude,
storylines, there was one
30 minutes.
storyline.
The first 30 minutes of the movie was literally like, where do I look? Like, it's like one scene here, we're moving here, we're shifting. It was way too much going on. Like, there wasn't a premise until we got to the back end of the movie. Then I was hooked with a lot of the action scenes, but it just
I did
it
not
didn't-
feel that way at all.
It didn't fit. It didn't fit my, like, I feel like Martin Lawrence was just trying to be like
Ryan, you're wrong.
a contrarian the
You're
entire
wrong.
time in this movie.
Ryan,
I'm
you're
not
wrong.
wrong. I'm
You're
not
wrong.
wrong. I'm not wrong.
I don't care
he
about your
dies and
opinion
comes back to life, and then
anymore
it's like
today.
he has this.
You know what?
whole
Maybe we
philo-
should kick Ryan off the podcast.
What?
Maybe we should. You're wrong. You're wrong on this one, bro.
But
Dude, everyone
and
in the
it's-
theater that I was in was laughing their butt off at Martin Lawrence's lines.
I was in an empty theater, so no one was laughing their butt off on these lines.
Well, I don't
Martin
know where
Lawrence,
you went to see a movie, but maybe you should pick a better theater.
The Sundial in St. Petersburg.
Okay,
It was,
and you
it was
say
a 8 p.m. film.
You say it was all over the place, but since you just said it, him dying at the beginning because of certain things that carried throughout the whole movie. The joke about the states and the sex carried throughout the whole movie. It wasn't all over the place.
It was corny. It was just corny.
It's
He's
Bad
like,
Boys. When
you know,
is
he
a Bad
compares.
Boy not corny?
Sorry.
He com-
It was
He compares him
corny.
to a donkey in the film. It's just weird.
died?
Like, there's so many weird
Joey
parts
Pants?
of this film.
Did they kill off
We're
Joey
not-
Pants?
Look, we're not going to tell you.
No.
We're not going to tell you what happened.
No. You not answering me is telling me what happened.
No, that's not even who she's talking about currently.
And by the way, it's so not believable that they're on a plane that's spinning
saying-
in the middle of the air.
Wait.
Okay, hold
Ryan.
on. Ryan.
Listen.
Hold up. A Bad Boys film that you think is believable?
It's just there's so
When
much.
has a
overplayed
Bad
in
Boys
this.
movie been believable?
When is
Like, they
any
should have died
action movie-
17 times in this film.
What?
17 times they should have died.
They should have died in
You know what?
the first movie.
Kick
What
him
are you
off.
talking about?
Kick him off.
What?
Kick him
What?
off.
No,
Kick him off.
No. That's it gives him what he wants. He has to stay.
That's. I'm so
Don't
mad
tell
at
my
you
secrets,
right now.
Josh.
And I mean that from a friendship standpoint. Like, what in the hell is wrong with you, Ryan? You act like you've never seen an action movie before. Do you think any of the Fast and Furious movies are believable?
When they didn't they drive a truck off of a
This
tank
is,
and then
this-
fly it through the air? Didn't they go to the
This
moon?
was 115 minutes that felt like a life sentence.
Ryan.
No, it did. I could not stop laughing throughout this entire movie.
You, first of all, it was.
and that was the
I
whole
love that
point.
you said you don't even know how long this movie was. It was 155 minutes.
Yeah, but 115 of it felt like a life sentence.
By the
The
way,
last,
I just
like-
said that wrong just to see if you'd catch it.
The last 40 minutes. Well, did I not catch it?
It's an hour
Oh,
and
wait.
55 minutes. There it is. Now he
It's
just
like 100.
realized.
It's 2.5 hours. I'm not seeing this movie then. 3 hour bad boy.
He just
Don't
realized.
math me right now. Don't math me. Don't do
Dude,
that to me.
I'm mathing you.
And not to mention-
Hang on. Wait. Stop. First of all,
You're math at me.
they're so... They calling me. You're missing so much about this movie. I love the callback with. Do you want me to say it? Or are you going to watch it?
I'll see it, but go ahead. Go ahead.
Reggie 1v15.
Let's go.
You realize that's the same character from Bad Boys 2, where they open the door and they're harassing him, right?
Yes. Yes.
You did not.
Yes.
You just realized that.
Yes, I
saw it in
did.
your
Yes, I
face.
did. Yes, I did. No, Reggie was badass in this film. By the way, Reggie was one of that whole scene in the house was probably my
Amazing.
favorite scene of this movie.
Amazing.
That was probably my favorite scene in the movie.
You didn't like the scene where he's trying to catch the jelly beans and he gets the
That's
black
so
licorice
corny,
jelly
dude.
bean.
It's
No, it
so
is not
corny. That
It
whole
was
scene is
funny.
corny.
It's funny. It's a running
Like, the
joke
whole
throughout
time
the
that he's-
whole movie.
Martin Lawrence
Like,
might have been the funniest I've seen him
Man,
in a long time.
no. He's come a long. Blue Streak was maybe the funniest I've seen Martin Lawrence. This was not that Martin.
Are you
Lawrence.
Okay,
serious?
first of all,
This
did
was
you ever watch
great.
Martin?
No, I haven't watched Martin.
And there's a reason
You didn't.
why-
All right, so never mind. Ryan, your opinion is invalid
And there's a
because you have
reason-
not watched that show.
There's a reason why Martin Lawrence is acting this way throughout the whole movie. It's not like he's trying to be corny. He's had this new epiphany on life. So you need to let him act that way. And yes, it was
and
very
they
entertaining.
pay it off at the end.
Yes.
Yeah, because he gets bit by an albino alligator and survives too. Like it's just all ridiculous. All of it.
No, he's
It's
talking-
an action movie, Ryan. This is all right. I know I've used this phrase a lot. If you guys have not heard me talk about this on the podcast, this is the definition of a popcorn flick. All Bad Boys movies are the definition of a popcorn flick. They are not supposed to be nominated for awards. They're supposed to be fun. And you're taking the fun out of it. You know I love you, but in this case, you are wrong.
And you gotta
Maybe
love,
this is just not the movie for you.
and you gotta
DJ Khaled made an appearance.
yes. We
Again.
way to have another spoiler out there. Because that's something that I did not know was going to happen until I saw it. But also, you have to love the creativity, like kind of like John Wick had their creative moment in that movie. This movie had their creative moment with him as the shooter, and you could see on the internet. I had saw a video about how they shot this scene, and it was so cool. And actually seeing it play out in the movie was such a cool angle, and how they're able to make equipment that could make it look like that.
So
That was cool. That was like a video game. It felt like you were playing
Right.
Call of Duty, like from that angle, which was cool.
It's been done before. It was done at the end of the Doom movie. But for people that don't know, he was wearing basically a waist-strapped camera that he could point at himself and then whip it around to show like the angle towards the rest of the cast.
Like from the gun's point of view.
The pew pew.
They would call that a first
Pew,
person
pew.
shooter.
Yes. FPS.
Yep.
I don't know. Look. Much
Josh,
like
I think you'll like it.
I'm sure I will.
Much like every other movie that we review, the reason that we all get along and the reason that we do this podcast is because we do not always agree. That being said, Ryan, I think you're just being contrarian with this take.
I'm not. I love Martin Lawrence and I love Will Smith and I love this series and I hope that they continue the series. But it just seemed so over the top, especially Martin
I'm
Lawrence's
sorry.
character in this. Like
I- no,
I
hold
love,
on.
like
Over the top for an action
So-
movie is
Over the
exactly
top,
what
but
you
like-
want.
To be clear, you would prefer like them to do actual detective work where they're just filling out
no,
paperwork and like
listen,
calling
listen.
a bunch of people. Dun, dun, dun,
They
dun,
end up
dun.
being fugitives in this film where they're running from law enforcement and there's like I remember the scene a couple of Bad Boys ago where Martin Lawrence accidentally takes the drinks out of the fishbowl. That was funny. Like I thought that whole scene was really funny. This time where he's like
gonna have to bleep
he's
that
trying
word
to get
out.
Skittles. He's trying to get Skittles out of the air, and he's like licking for like the punch that's coming out. It's just all of it's just he's like eating chips, like because all of it's just weird. Like it's just a weird character of him.
Set, okay, Josh, don't listen if you don't want to.
I'm listening.
It's like the whole thing is set up. Have you ever been around someone
who can't have something
that is not supposed to eat certain foods? Because
of course.
Because my dad has been through the exact same thing.
And it becomes euphoric at some point because you're like, I can finally, I'm gonna eat it.
Yeah.
Like bread.
It's a really confusing.
I think it made 100. I think it made.
Look, all right, fine.
I think it made 100 million.
We're going to ruin it.
Office,
If you don't want the movie ruined, if you haven't already seen it, just tune out for like 30 seconds. Martin Lawrence has a heart attack at the beginning of the film. My dad had the Widowmaker heart attack, which is a 99% blockage in your lower left ventricle of your heart. And he couldn't eat like salt for a long time. Like the doctors were just like, hey, we want you to eat this sort of diet.
So the running joke is Martin Lawrence can't eat chips and candy and all
And
this stuff.
all
He keeps
the
trying
stuff
to
he
eat it.
wants.
He's
And
delirious
so
and-
it's
the only thing he thinks
he
about.
went like on a spirit journey sort of at,
got it.
at the beginning of the movie. So,
And
you
he can't
see
die.
that?
The whole premise is he says he can't die throughout the
Moncel
film.
just ran out of the studio to plug his ears because he doesn't want to hear it. Okay, all right, we're done. We're good. You can come back. Anyway, I thought this movie was fantastic. I enjoyed it. Obviously, it is rated R. It is a Bad Boys movie.
He liked Waterworld, but he didn't like this.
How do you feel about Geely?
Oh my God, y'all are gonna hurt my heart this morning.
Shun-Chi in the Seven Rings. What was it again?
The Ten Rings.
10 Rings. God, what a great movie. Did you guys see that?
We did,
We
remember?
did. What movie do you guys want to watch? Because there's a lot of stuff that's out right now. There's a lot of stuff on Netflix. There's a lot of stuff that's in theaters. I feel like we're sort of getting to that lane again of having a lot of options. So
Twisters isn't until July. When is Deadpool?
Yeah, Twister comes out, which
When
is
is
good.
Deadpool and Wolverine?
I'm
That's
sorry.
July.
That's July. I can't.
July's gonna be.
I feel so bad saying this because this is contrarian as hell. You want to talk about being contrarian? I love the original Twister so much. I can't see this one.
I have to.
I can't.
It doesn't look good to me.
It looks.
It looks like all
so
the same.
basic.
It looks like all the same beats, but I love Glenn Powell, and I'm on Glenn Powell Island, and I think
Dude,
that he's.
I can't, and I wish that I was more excited about this movie.
He reminds me of a young Tom Hanks. I'm on the record for saying that, and I will.
That you are out of your mind. I'm sorry. I can't.
The Luke Combs song is really good in there.
All right, when you're more excited about the soundtrack before a movie comes out than the actual movie, that's a problem.
I mean, they didn't have to put it out beforehand. They
They
blessed
did.
us.
If we
They
wanted another
blessed
Glenn Powell
us.
film, Hitman is on Netflix.
Yeah, that looks good too.
Is that new or is that
It's new.
okay.
Came out June 7th, so it just came out.
All right, well, I'm cool with that.
Glenn
If y'all
Powell
wanna do
month,
that.
everyone.
All right. No. All right, Hitman. That is the movie. I assume that's rated R just by the title.
I'm on it.
I assume.
Yeah. So just a heads up. I'd just like to give people
Yeah.
a heads up. You know.
If that's not your flavor, that's fine.
We're sorry because we also do a lot of rated R movies.
Yeah.
It is rated R.
All right.
confirm.
Hitman. That is the movie for next
On
week.
Netflix.
On Netflix. Check that out. Let's go to movies. Movies.
Okay.
And back to I'm just kidding.
And back to movies again. Just real quick. Just in case.
I've got it in order in my list. Every time I look down, I'm just like, oh crap.
What do you want to do next? Movies?
Yeah, let's do movies again. All right. Movies. Let's go to music. We'll keep it short.
Music.
Young Lovin' Saturday Nights is officially top 10, baby.
Yep.
Woo, let's go.
I love you guys. Shout out to everybody that's supporting that song. I appreciate you. You're amazing, and I love having another top 10 in my career catalog. That is fun to check that off. Still got work to do, but top 10. I'm going to recommend we just go straight to what are you listening to, only because
You want to talk about CMA Fest?
I mean, CMA Fest was this week. Obviously, that's a huge thing for Nashville. If you guys ended up down here, thank you very, very much for coming and supporting musicians, and thank you to the CMA for hosting this every single year. It's something that I went to when I was a kid when it was called Fanfare, and everybody's like, why was it called Fanfare? And then now it's CMA Fest. And so it's
actually fun quick background story on that. 5,000 people first attended when it was Fanfare. That festival was on life support, and the fact that it moved from the fairgrounds to downtown kind of revived it. There's 100,000 people that came this week, and it's a really cool story of how CMA Fest kind of birthed into what it is today.
Love that.
That's what I was leading into, Ryan, because I grew up
Shout out to Butch Spiriton, by the way. Butch Spiriton, one of the godfathers of the festival.
I was going to talk about why it was called Fanfare, and then you.
I got you. A little journalism. Hashtag journalism.
As usual, you just co-opted my point. Me and Ryan are going to fight today. It's just going to happen. It's going to happen.
No, this is good. We're peppering it all the way to the hot take. And I may have to allow.
I think Ryan saw the hot take, and now he's mad.
I have to moderate, I think, and just give each of you 2 minutes without interrupting.
Yeah, exactly. You might have to mute Ryan, is what you're saying. So, and yes, shout out to Butch Spiriton. Love him. He's done so much for Nashville behind the scenes that a lot of people don't know about. When the tornado came through several years ago, when I was looking for where to donate and how to help, he reached out and helped me find a place to actually donate money where it was going to go to people that needed it. Great man. And yeah, I'm actually doing an event with him this evening.
Nice.
Believe it or not.
There you go. That was not planned, by the way. It was a nice little circle.
A little segue. All right. What are you listening to, Rye? Tell me.
Actually, one of my my low key favorite CMA Fest artist, to kind of check out each time the festival comes around is Mackenzie Carpenter. I actually really like I like her music. So Don't Mess with Exes. She's actually behind some pretty big songs that you've heard on the radio, and so I think she's on tour with Cole Swindell, if I'm not mistaken. Opening up for him. So Mackenzie Carpenter's "Don't Mess with Exes." I really like that song.
Bear,
are y'all ready for this one?
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Taking it back to 2005.
Here we go.
A song that everyone probably forgot, but their
song?
Their fingers never did. LOVE, Ashley Simpson.
Yeah, I did not know where that was going.
Boy,
by the way,
that setup was terrifying.
That scared the crap out of me.
It was always a thing that you had to do with the song. LOVE.
I never did that once in my life.
It was a girl thing. It was a girl thing.
All right. Josh?
From the Twister soundtrack, Ain't No Love in Oklahoma by Luke Combs. I saw Luke in Arizona 2 weekends ago, and it was the first time they played that song, and that song
Luke is amazing.
Crushed.
Come on.
Crushed.
If you don't
it hits as hard as Beer Never Broke My Heart live.
I'm sorry. I've been on stages with that guy before. If you don't like Luke Combs, I don't know what to tell you.
You might not like music at that point.
Yeah.
You should check yourself.
Before you wreck yourself.
I'm going to change things up completely.
Spoken word? instrumental jazz.
Soothing Rain Sounds.
There it is.
Off of the album Rain Sounds.
The follow-up to Gentle Mist.
I just sometimes...
Are you going brown noise next week too? Like, what are we doing here?
Do you guys listen to...
Sometimes I have to... I want something when I go to sleep that's not a podcast and not...
I used to sleep with a noisemaker back when I was a kid. It was like one of those water dripping things, and you
That would
could
make me
play
pee.
like... You could play rainforest noises and all, like ocean noises. I personally... There's a lot of times I'll ask my Alexa or put it on the YouTube TV and have ocean noises.
Interesting. See, that would make me pee. I would have to get up in the middle of the night and pee every single time.
Really?
Yes.
I cannot fall asleep without sleep sounds. So that is a must have.
What is
for
your
me
sleep
each night.
sound?
Yeah,
Ryan?
what's
It
your
is-
go-to? Is it rain?
It is brown noise. It is not rain. It is brown noise. It is it's kind of similar to white noise, but a little bit more tolerable in my opinion.
So
Really?
it's just farts?
Try it out. Yes, it's a continual looping of farts that I fall asleep to.
So it's what my dog does when he goes to bed. It's what
It
Porter
helps you,
does.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
He scares
helps you,
himself
yeah.
when he farts.
See, I-
too.
I- sleep-
My dog scares himself awake.
yeah.
Who among us has not done that?
He literally... all right, anybody that has a dog that's ever seen a dog do this, I know it's not just my dog because I've seen clips of it on like TikTok and stuff. But he will scare himself awake with
so
his
funny.
poots.
I sleep with two box fans, so if I'm traveling and I don't have them, I have this.
Whoa.
24.
That's just road noise.
Yeah.
So basically, you just love being on a bus.
I think it might be why I love New York so much.
All
It's
right.
it's so noisy.
Yeah.
It just calms me down.
Perfect. Well, there you go, guys. That is the most random what are you listening to that we've ever done. And I'm sorry that Ryan likes farts. Let's go to sports.
Farts.
All right. Hang on. Can we... Can we talk about Caitlin Clark not being on the U.S. Olympic team? Ryan, I really want your opinion on this.
I'm okay with it. I feel like this is a non-controversy, not a controversy. Like I understand how big she is and how big she has been for the game of women's basketball and growing it into really a global sport at this point. But I'm okay with it. There's a lot of talent on that roster and a lot of deserving talent on that roster that's been in the WNBA for years and even decades in some cases, with a Diane Taurasi, for example. So I'm okay with it. Caitlin will have her time, and I think we're too quick to anoint and rush her into the stratosphere of has to be the face of the game. I'm all right with it, and I think Caitlin is too. And I don't know if she was quoted on it. I haven't read to see if she gave a statement on it or not, but I think it's okay that she was left off the Olympics roster.
Josh, go ahead.
I think it's a bigger indictment of perhaps how some of the other players feel about Caitlin Clark. And this reminds me of when, if you remember, Isaiah Thomas was left off the dream team because he did not get along with Michael Jordan. And it feels a lot like that. Ryan, you're correct. She will have her time, certainly. But there would be no better way to gain viewership, support for the women's game in the Olympics than to have Caitlin on the roster, even if she doesn't play all that much, just in the roster completely. So I think that this is a calculated move by the WNBA to not upset some of their older superstars.
Even though they're not the ones who are bringing in the money right now.
They're not bringing in the new money right now.
Any money.
For the record, too, she turned 22. Caitlin Clark did in January. The U.S. roster does not include any players under the age of 26.
I'm gonna say this.
By the way, shout out to Sabrina, who's making her first Olympics
Yes,
appearance.
Shout
for the
out to
record.
Sabrina. Very happy that she's on that roster. I'm going to say this from a branding position. It'd be different if she was averaging, 7, 2, and 1. But she's very, very good already. And she is a lightning rod for attention. You take advantage of that while the moment is there. And the argument of there's people that have been in the league longer doesn't play out very well. If you just go by seniority, let me put it in a perspective from like me as an artist. If you just went, I've had my record deal on RCA for 18 years, therefore I deserve blank, you would miss out on so many people that are so freaking talented. And look, I don't want to go anywhere. I would still like to have success and have songs on, streaming and radio and everything else and play shows. That being said, you can't diminish someone's accomplishments and their attention factor just because they haven't been in, quote unquote, the league long enough. That goes for men, women. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what field you're in. If you're in the field of entertainment.
For what it's worth, Caitlin Clark versus Diana Taurasi, head-to-head stats. Caitlin Clark is better than Diana in every statistical category except for three-point shooting, which Caitlin takes way more of. So, it's an interesting.
There still could
move.
be an opportunity, by the way. Injury replacement could happen, so she could end up being on the roster. But the initial
you can't
snub.
backdoor somebody into
I get that.
the roster and
I'm
make it feel
I'm making
legitimate.
sure it's known that it's not necessarily final, right? Like Brittany Griner, who's been off, she's on the team, but she's been battling injuries. There could be a spot for Caitlin that does open up.
But I'm sorry, that's not good enough.
I also don't think Brittany Griner should be on it, but that's just me.
And by the way, I'm not diminishing Taurasi by saying any of that. I'm not diminishing Sabrina. I'm saying you can't make the argument, Rye, of going, oh, well, she's 22 and the other youngest player that's on the roster is 26. It doesn't matter what her age is. It doesn't matter how long she's been in the league. If she's that good and can put up that stat line.
It should be like that, but it's not. Otherwise, Victor Wembanyama would have won Defensive Player of the Year, but they've never given it to a rookie before. So,
but they have put rookies on the USA women's team before.
Correct.
Yes.
The youngest player to ever play with the USA women's team was Nancy Lieberman. She was 18 in 1976. They've also had Asia Wilson, who's on this team. She was 24 when she was selected. They've had at least two players under age 25 on every other Olympic roster dating back to 1976.
So I think that they're,
I don't know. It's a talking point. I don't know that it matters in the grand scheme of things, and that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say like they aren't going to win without Caitlin Clark. But when you have somebody that's garnering that much attention,
Continue it.
I think it's a missed marketing opportunity.
She went on to score 30 points that night, by the way.
Yeah,
when she was
I know.
told she was snubbed from the team, she scored 30
maybe this
against
is
the
the
Mystics.
best possible scenario in which Caitlin gets snubbed and then just goes off for 35 a game for the next 28 games. Wins the scoring title. Kind of makes everyone look like an idiot. That being said, Indiana Fever,
I mean, we're
second worst team in the WNBA by record.
We're all still going to support the USA women's team no matter what.
Yeah, for Sabrina, let's go.
Well, and
Let's go, Sabrina.
I would love to see her go off
She will.
in the Olympics. Like,
She
come on,
will.
man.
Yeah.
But that's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is even if you put her as the last roster spot, I think it's worth it for the attention.
It'd certainly get viewership up. So,
Yep. It's weird how many games have sold way more tickets since she's been in the league.
it's true. Speaking of basketball,
Let's talk about it. Go ahead, Josh.
as of last night, the Boston Celtics have taken a commanding 2-0 lead over the Dallas Mavericks.
They're going to win the next 4. It's fine.
It looks a little rough for the Mavs right now.
They
So
haven't lost by a lot.
if you're
The line was 7 and they lost by 7. By the way, 1-800-BETS OFF if you have a gambling problem. National hotline. There you go.
if you're the Mavericks, you're frustrated because it should be 1-1 coming back. The Celtics played about as poorly as everyone thought they would have at least one game of, where they missed a bunch of threes. Jason Tatum had a terrible game, et cetera,
And they still won by 7.
And they still won by 7. I think it's pretty obvious. This is not an out. It's pretty obvious that Luka is banged up, as most people are by the finals. It is tough to get through that many rounds and that many games.
I will say I bet first shot Luka Doncic.
Nice. Plus 1,500?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. There is the old saying, a series doesn't start until the home team loses. So what does that mean for game 3? I'll let you know. I'll be there on Wednesday. So
I think they win game 3.
I think Dallas wins game 3. I think that
I think it's still close.
I think it's close. I think we have a nuclear Luka game in which he goes for 50. The role players are going to play better at home. Those open corner threes are going to actually fall. PJ Washington's going to stop.
Corner three.
Yeah, PJ Washington's going to stop dribbling out of them and just start heaving them up. So,
By the way, if you don't get the reference for corner 3, you're not of a certain age because that is a Family Guy joke, which originally resonated because there was a video game that we all used to play when we were children where if you were in the corner, it went down every time if you shot from 3 out of the corner.
yep. So yeah, we will see. Be on the lookout for me. I will be under the basket, about 10 rows up.
I mean, I remember one time when you and me were mid-court next to good old Michael Che.
Michael Che, where I was explaining to him what a flagrant 2 versus the flagrant 1 was. It was fantastic. I should have pitched him a bunch of jokes for Weekend Update.
No.
It's a missed opportunity.
God.
Yeah, I suspect it will be 2-1 after Wednesday, and then we will see what Game 4 has in store. If the Celtics go up 3-0.
So you still think Mavs,
I'm still going to root for them. I'm not changing my mind.
Ryan?
Just to give a quick take on this, for the record, I do agree with you, Josh. I think Luka is banged up. He was actually questionable going into that game, ended up playing. Kyrie hasn't been the number 2 that they need him to be, especially with Boston's depth. We've seen this all. Boston's been the best team in the NBA all season long because of how deep they are. They can come at you when you have a Tatum and Brown that aren't having that kind of game, where a Drew Holiday or a Derek White steps up.
Now,
I think.
Wait. I'm going to interrupt you for one thing. You just said Luka went into that game banged up, so they didn't have to put bodies on him like they normally do. So then it shifts to Kyrie, so they lock down the number 2. So if your number 1 is down and they can step up to your number 2, and the Celtics have more depth than the Mavs,
You have a problem at that point.
Luka still has more 30-point finals games than the entire Celtics roster combined. Like he's gonna get his.
No, Ryan, you're burying the lead. You and me are just going at it today. I don't know why.
My whole thing is
you can't see someone iced up around their ribs before a finals game, and they're your number 1, and you've got a number 2, but the Celtics have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
What it allows you to do is to trade defensive scheme from stopping Luka to just going, we just need to keep someone on him. He's going to get buckets. He would on any of those people guarding him. But now
I get buckets.
we can send Drew Holiday, Derek White, Jaylen Brown to Kyrie and make him really, 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 really have to work for it.
and agreed. And I agree with you, right? the Celtics have, 5 players averaging 16 points per game through 2 finals games. Only the 1968 Celtics have done that as well. I'm going to change my pick. I ragged Boston for having an easy road to the East, but they dominated the Eastern Conference playoffs, and they won a number of those games by double digits. So I just think Boston's on a mission.
So you're going C's.
I'm going C's. Yeah, I actually think Boston wins in 5 now. I went from Mavs in 7. I think Boston wins in 5. I think the Mavs will get 1, but Boston's just too good, too deep, and too determined right now, I think, to finish this thing off.
All right. And ladies and gentlemen, that is my friend that I met way back in the day at CBS Sports, who has been doing this for a very long time. He knows his stuff.
By the way, bleep Boston.
Okay. One of our mutual friends was getting cussed out in Boston the other day because he showed up in a Kyrie jersey.
Like a Boston Kyrie jersey or like a Dallas Kyrie jersey?
A Dallas Kyrie jersey.
That doesn't matter. If you're wearing a Kyrie jersey at all, Boston's going to let you hear about it.
The people in the crowd were like saying very offensive things to him.
Yikes.
People from Boston were saying offensive things.
Oh my God.
No, it's shocker.
So we all think it's Boston, right?
I said I'm
Yes.
Almost.
I know you're rooting for the Mavs, but
I'm withholding. I don't think Mavs in 6. It would have to be Mavs in 7 at this point because you're not winning.
But you're withholding?
I'm withholding until I see it in person on Wednesday.
Okay.
I will know much better.
I mean, look, I would love to be wrong, and I would love for the Mavs to win.
I would love for it to just be 2-2, and then we're just going best of 3, and then all bets are off. Yeah, then
point.
everyone wins at that point, except for the loser of the series. But we win.
For the loser,
we win, and that's all that matters.
Does Dan Hurley?
Everyone does win except for the loser.
Except for the loser.
Yeah,
I like that. That's a good take. Does Dan Hurley take the Lakers job?
He's supposed to announce today, correct?
I believe so. He's supposed to.
Yeah, I was going to say, for those that don't know, UConn head coach, they're debating him being the head coach of the Lakers.
I think the Lakers have made an offer, and I think that he is.
They made him a huge offer, evidently. Like, trust me, if he gets signed as the head coach, we're going to hear about it because evidently it is a boatload of money.
Do you think he does it?
I don't know. If I was him, I would stay where I was at. Now,
you take on a lot of responsibility heading the Lakers.
Money is a wonderful motivator, but me personally, a long time ago, somebody told me you don't make decisions for money. You make the right decision. So for him, I don't know what that decision is. I would say I'd stay there, but maybe he wants to. He sees it as a step up by going from college to the pros, and maybe that's something he wants to check off of his bucket list. So you don't really know. No one knows until he tells us.
I think he stays at UConn. I think that the program he has built that program.
I don't disagree.
I think that he's spent too much time building that program into what it is, that he wants to see that out a few more years at least. If they were a middle of the pack thing, but then the Lakers wouldn't be calling. That's the whole point, right? I also just he is so hard nosed, and I think that he would require a lot out of his players. But that LA Lakers squad is not. I think he's looking at that roster going, I'm not going to be able to motivate those guys. If he was being courted as the head coach of the Oklahoma City Thunder instead of Dagnall, I'd go, oh, yeah, this makes sense. Young team. They would play super hard for him. He can have that kind of influence because there's no crazy superstars other than SGA. But
he wouldn't want to make that step up.
He wouldn't. I don't think so either. And I think that
young superstars.
As we've learned with LeBron, who I still think is the GOAT, but as we've learned with LeBron, if you're successful, it's because of LeBron, and if you have any issues, it's because of the coach, and he will throw you under the bus.
You know what? I've seen the reverse, especially in music, where like if you're successful, it's because of the team and
the label,
the writer, and this and that. And even if you're a writer, you were a co-writer, and it was really the other guy in the room, and it's the producer, and it's this, and it's that. And then if you're not successful, it's like, oh, that artist just fell off.
I think
I've seen both sides of that.
For sure. I think that JJ Redick ends up being the coach of the Lakers. I think that he fits that media availability like a Pat Riley, kind of just suave in a suit. We've already seen the YouTube series with him and LeBron talking X's and O's. So he's a former player. You're going to get a lot of that Steve Kerr. I understand what it means to be a role player, not a superstar.
I never understood why they didn't just go with JJ to begin with.
It's the initial talks were with JJ, and then I don't know if Hurley put out a feeler or if someone knew him and asked him, and he's like, "Oh, that's interesting," and all of a sudden this thing.
Well, I mean, if they don't go with Hurley now, I don't know if they get JJ.
I think
they would. I think they would.
I think he would still do it. And I like the trajectory of JJ, right? Like consummate pro, ends up getting into media and being an announcer, and then becomes a head coach. That's exactly what Steve Kerr did. And Steve Kerr saw basketball a very specific way and created that Warriors dynasty. And I think that JJ at least has all that makeup.
He has the pieces.
He has the pieces, and he has the respect of his former peers as players to go, hey, here's my thoughts about how to. And I think he would work with LeBron to go, how do we make a scheme that sets you up for success, but mitigates all of our deficiencies as being older or slower or whatever.
I think Hurley stays at UConn. It is funny. This is, I believe, the 20th anniversary where the Lakers tried to hire Mike Krzyzewski away from Duke. And then I believe this is literally comes on the 20th anniversary of what happened. Coach K stayed at Duke, and the rest is history. So I find that interesting to say the least.
I have one more sports piece before we go to this hot take where me and Ryan are gonna throw hands. He's gonna get a 2-piece, no sides. You're gonna lose this one. I already know which way you're gonna go. You're gonna lose this one. NFL, there is a video out currently of, I believe, Keenan Allen.
Yeah, I saw this.
Getting a lob pass from Caleb, their new QB, and going, oh, hell no.
He was not the answer. Caleb we can have all the players on the field, but you need someone who can get the ball to them, and he is not the answer.
It's unfortunate when you're already getting a receiver that's been in the league that is a tried and true pro to be like, oh, hell no, the very first pass. It's just not a good look.
I think we make way too much of these training camp OTA videos. Well, this happened last year with Tyreek and Tua. We were overanalyzing an underthrown pass. It worked out great because Tua led the NFL in passing yards and completion percentage.
And how many wins?
Okay, first of all, they made the playoffs, and if the Bears were to make the playoffs this year, that's a pretty good first season for Caleb Williams.
Ryan, mute him right now. Before, you're muted. Before you start talking about completion percentage and yards passing, there was a game in which they scored, 50 points?
70.
That sort of mitigates the rest of the season.
No, one game does not mitigate the rest of the season.
Does.
No,
Dude,
it doesn't.
There's been games.
They scored. They had like 5 rushing touchdowns in the game. It wasn't just all passing.
Listen, and you, Linda, you know this. 70 points does not happen. So when you have a game where you get 70 points, of course your statistics are going to look amazing. That's why statistics is a crappy class that you take in college. Stats sometimes don't tell the whole story.
It's pretty sad when he's doing really crappy against his own team, when he isn't having the other teams who have been strategizing against them and everything else and doing their own stuff. If you can't get the ball to your teammate against your own team, then that's a problem.
I think we're overanalyzing one training camp video. And if the Bears were to make the playoffs this year, everybody in Chicago would be elated in the first year with Caleb Williams.
Well, yeah, if is a wonderful word. proven is a much better one.
What's their over under? I wonder what I think their over under is what, 5.5 wins?
Who? Bears?
The Bears.
What did we have, 4 wins last year?
The Bears.
It's actually set for 8.5.
No way.
Whoa.
Under. Oh gosh, can we do some over unders next week?
Oh yeah, let's do under.
I want to overreact so badly.
Ryan is even confused right now.
But Vegas knows something, man. 8.5 victories. That's what, they win 3 last year?
Don't bury the lead, Ryan, because you took it here.
I think we won 4 games.
When your team scores 70 in a game, of course his passing stats are going to look fantastic. This is also the quarterback that you maligned on this podcast.
I have a screenshot. Would you like to see it?
No.
Tua the Savior is here. 20 minutes later. Tua sucks.
Never forget.
Never forget. The best screenshot I've ever taken in my entire life.
Oh, my God. Do you have it right now?
I can find
No,
it.
we're going to post that. We're going to post that
No.
this week.
No.
Yes.
Let me say this again. I've said this every single time we've talked about it. I want Caleb Williams to prove me wrong. I would love to actually have an exciting season. I would love to be happy to watch my team instead of being angry bear the entire time I'm watching it, or even want to watch the game knowing that we're not going to look like a bunch of children playing on the field.
I believe one time you had to stand in a trash can because of a double doink.
Caleb Williams ain't it.
Yeah.
I've been on that corner pre-draft.
And that's totally what I've been saying as well. But I'm going to say this. I hope he proves me wrong. I would like to actually enjoy watching my team play.
Haley, this is season.
I disagree. I think Caleb Williams will end up being good.
And we're on Hard Knocks this year. We have the curse
That is
coming
a curse.
anyway.
Yeah,
true.
that is.
Haley, we're on year 4 of you going, they need to prove it to me for me to understand. They're not going to. I'm going to tell you right now. If
When
they
was
just
the last time they won? When was the last time they won the Super Bowl?
1985.
They made
When I was
the Super
born.
Bowl in 08.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
39 years ago. If
About
they
to
just
be.
would have remade...
My birthday is this week.
It's true.
Yeah.
If they just would have remade the roster and kept Fields for the last year of his contract, way different. You can then go into next season or traded the number 1 pick and got a lot more stuff for it. You could have gone into next season with the next disgruntled quarterback that goes, oh, you know what? Actually, I want to go play where there's a good offensive weapons, Justin Herbert or Russell Wilson or whomever, Sam Darnold. I don't care. You could have just been in that world, or where Tom Brady goes, you know what? You know who has a squad? I'm going to come back for them. Like, it doesn't really matter.
I still would have taken Russell
But
Wilson.
but you didn't want to stick with Justin Fields for one more year. We talked about this on the podcast, and I was like, don't just give up
No,
the number 1 for picks, get more picks,
Josh asked
build
me.
your line.
Josh asked me the
I
question.
know it's not sexy.
Would you stick with Justin Fields for one more year for this? And I said yes.
She did.
Thank you.
She did say yes.
But
the reports out of camp, it's not just one video, Ryan. The reports out of camp is, oh, the Bears defense,
Not very good.
8 today
7 interceptions.
out of like 15 passes. Like, I mean, it's just not.
We just let him play games first, and then we can analyze. Like, I don't want to analyze training camp video. Like, let's analyze once he gets
Well, you
once
don't
he gets
wanna,
on the field.
You don't want to analyze anything. You want to analyze it.
To be clear, training camp is when it should look the best,
Yeah.
not the worst. He's going to have 6'5" linemen running at him.
Watch, Ryan is going to be like the contrarian during.
So Ryan, you're going to take the over then, 8.5. Vegas knows something.
No, I'm not taking the over on 8.5. No chance.
Ryan, take the over of 8.5.
No,
and if
no
you
chance.
lose, then you have to wear a Bears jersey for the rest of the year.
Every week.
Okay,
Every
you know what?
Sunday.
Here- wait. I got a better one for you.
I'll put up $1,000.
I'll get it. I'll take that, and I'll get a better one for you. But the over, I'll take the over 8.5. If I am not right, I will stand in a trash can for the entire Bears game.
Oh, that's
Like,
even better.
The entire neck. Like, I will
Shakes
stand in a
hand.
trash can for an entire season or game 1, week 1 of 2025, whatever it is, I will stand in a trash can the entire.
Oh, comes
Oh
full circle.
my God.
I love
that's
this.
a big
I love
bet.
this. I also
That is a
But I get
big bet.
I'll get $1,000 from you if the Bears go over 8.5. So I'm pretty happy about that.
enjoy your trash
Are we
can.
allowed to do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Sports gambling is legal here.
You make the rules.
Also, I was thinking, I agree with Haley for, like the second time in my lifetime. I agree with Haley that we should have a punishment for fantasy football for the worst player
Thank you.
God.
this year.
All right.
And I
fine.
thought of a really good one.
Okay.
Trash can.
Sort of. We make the loser go sit on Broadway and play trash can drums for money until they get $100. Until they get $100 in tips, which they can keep. So they're not completely out
So
of
you
like
make them go busk on Broadway.
they go busk on Broadway playing drums and singing whatever songs they want until they make $100 in
Twinkle,
tips.
twinkle, little
But
star.
they have to sing.
They have to sing while
And
they're doing
play.
it. They have to sing and play while they're doing it.
I love this. I love this.
Especially if
We're
it's an
taking,
artist
because
that-
it'll be Nate. It'll be Nate Smith.
It's going to be great content for us regardless. Because
I love
the
you,
four
Nate.
of us are always
and
in
I'm
the
really
playoffs
sorry.
for the most part.
I know I forced you to play fantasy football with us.
He's going
but
to do it again.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah. So I thought about that yesterday and I was like, oh, this would be incredible.
It'll
And they
be
get to walk-
incredible
they get to walk
unless
with $100
like
bucks.
if I grabbed like Hardy to join us this year.
He might be good.
No, he would be great. It would take him like 30 seconds.
A bonus if you're that bad at fantasy football.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the hot take.
Hot take!
This one's going to be divisive.
I'm going to set the timer at 90 seconds for Chris Young.
Okay.
Ryan, you're going to be muted.
While I love all animals, all of them, and I had so many cats at my house growing up because we were broke as hell, and if you know anything about cats, they'll just show up. They pull up and they don't take much attention. You feed them, you water them, they stay around. I once had one of my pet cats pee in a girl's purse because she did not like her when she came over to the house when I was in high school. I love dogs. Porter the dog, famous, infamous, call him what you want. I would not let you get through my front door to get to that dog, and that dog would protect me with his life. He is a beautiful 115-pound German Shepherd. Don't ever pull up to my house uninvited because he is not happy when that occurs. Whether it be an Amazon driver or a pool guy or anybody,
20 seconds.
He's unhappy. And he is a beautiful, beautiful dude. He is at Porter the Dog on Instagram. On Instagram only. Nowhere else. And you cannot tell me that dogs are not man's best friend. All dogs go to heaven. Dogs over cats.
And
I
now,
timed it perfectly.
and now
Ryan, you have...
to our representative from Florida, the floor is yours.
So our hot take is, which do you prefer, cats or dogs?
Which
Is
one's
that
better?
am I?
Which one's better? Not what you prefer. Which one's better?
Which one is better? Well, if we're going to actually involve science into the fold here, while cats' brains may actually be smaller comparative to their body than dogs are, a cat's brain contains 300 million neurons. A dog's only has a mere 160 million neurons. Also, cats can produce 100 different sounds. That's actually far more impressive than the 10 that dogs can produce. Pretty pathetic, if you ask me. Owning a cat can actually reduce your chances of having a heart attack by 40%. That's according to science as well. I don't see any statistics for dogs on that. Cats, much more low maintenance than dogs are. But they are serial killers in the second life. So I'm going with dogs over cats as my pick for which is better. Golden Retrievers, long live Golden Retrievers. Been a part of my life since I was a kid. Dogs over cats.
What just happened?
The old razzle dazzle.
You have a cat.
Well, I used to, and he passed away, sadly.
But you've never had a dog.
I grew up with a Cocker Spaniel, and I grew up with a.
But you didn't have
terrier.
the animal.
Then I've grown up with 3 Golden Retrievers, now 4.
No. You had a cat.
Shared custody cat, yeah, technically. Dogs.
I just didn't
All
see
dogs
this
go
coming.
to. I heard that all dogs go to heaven.
Are we all going to agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cats
All
suck.
right. Hit the button. Dogs over cats.
We did it, everyone.
We love you guys. Thank you so much for listening to The Cloud with Chris Young. As always, I am Chris. From me, Ryan, Haley, and Josh. We love you guys. Thank you so very much for listening. And we're out.